So we are back doing another AAR read-through while we wait for the release of Victoria 3, largely trying to glean ideas of both like how the game mechanics interact and also what nations might be interesting to start as play as, kind of focusing on that sort of thing. And today we're going to take a look at Wales. Wales is an interesting choice, I think, because playing as a subject of England, which I actually think might be one of the more interesting countries to start out as because you start inside England's massive market, which I think gives you a lot of flexibility to hyper focus on something early on if you want to, and play some games with that sort of thing. Because you're in such a huge market early on that you should have access to just about every input good you want in quantities that are high enough that you can kind of just like do like whatever you want, and then also you're not likely to get invaded. So it might be a really fun start. I've also been thinking that the strategy of it depends on the numbers, but there's an edict that makes it so that migration is increased, and migration is from within your own market. So when you're part of your overlord's market, enacting this migration thing and just pulling from your overlord and the entire market's pops to grow your population by a large amount, this might be an interesting strategy. And I'm going to be trying to employ it in my first run as Tunis under the Ottomans. Okay, so welcome to today's first AAR, and then some cheeky Welsh. Okay, he wants to colonize Patagonia, which is in South America. Can't declare an interest, and he needs to boost power rank. So this is interesting. If your rank is really low, you can't even declare a single interest. So this is news to me. Something you can do to increase power projection a lot is increase your navy. From what I understand, it increases it more than increasing your army. Here, let's size me down a little bit so that you can see the rest of this stuff better. Can no longer do art academias for prestige. That's interesting, and they have a lot of coal. And so this is another thing: is I imagine these coal mines are going to be very profitable because England will be consuming a lot of coal. But the thing is do they have the interest groups you want? This is something I've been thinking of, is like trying to focus on buildings that are specifically owned by the interest groups you want to empower. Just something to think about. And okay, every single dev that I've seen play this game starts out with constructing a construction center, and so I'm guessing this is just like, you know, what you do from the start. But look at this queue time on the motor industry, 99 weeks. That is a long time. So, I'm guessing he doesn't have any construction centers? Is that the case? Is he a one? He might be a single state, and this is all he has at the start are the coal mines and the logging camps. And so building the construction center. But notably, he doesn't have to get fabric because he's part of the England's or the UK's rather. He's part of their market. Whereas I think normally you kind of want to build or a construction timber fabric early on if you are your own market. And then we have a three-party sort of thing. Interesting that let's look at the spread. So it looks like there's a ton of industrialists in his place that has coal mines and logging camps. So I'm guessing the industrialists own coal mines, or maybe they own the coal mines because he has advanced production already as part of his technology, and he's already doing that. That's interesting. The landowners and the religious group are coming at 25%, which is, I think, a lot of countries, if you're trying to play one of the, I guess, like, not in the UK or not in Germany, this is disempowering the landowners is going to be a big part of your play when you're trying to play as someone who starts out relatively backward. And then Intelligentsia and what is this? Trade unions also have quarter. My understanding is the trade unions and the Intelligentsia, long term, as you pass more and more texts, take out the industrialists in terms of like importance as you further and further liberalize. But almost all the playthroughs, the industrialists kind of take over because they don't go into the super late game. Coal mines are some of the best in the world. Hyper productive. So I think this economies of scale bonus, I think, is really important to maybe focus on because it's whenever you build an additional coal mine in this place, you are not just building a coal mine that is like the way the math works. You're not just building a coal mine that's more efficient. You're also making all your other coal mines more efficient. And so the second coal mine you get adds a total of 2% or 102% efficiency, 100% efficiency from the additional mine, and then 1% on each of the things. The maximum economy of scale bonus, from what I can tell based on reading the stuff, I hope you can see the economy of scale thing. Let's scroll down a little to guarantee it. The maximum economy of scale bonus is 20%. So when you build that 21st building, you are increasing, you are not producing just 120% of a building, you're producing 139% because the 19 before it are also getting plus 1%. Or sorry, the 20 before it are also getting plus 1% because you're bringing them from 19 to 20, and then you're also bringing one for 20, or that's going to have 20% bonus itself. So it will be the equivalent of building 1.4 of the buildings for your 21st one, which is a big deal. So the economies of scale really ramps up as you go bigger and bigger and bigger, and the bonus initially is going to be really small, which, for example, in the case of this Wales run, is an interesting one because the market is huge. I think the big reason why you can't expand really large and using economies of scale early on is that your market can't. Your market doesn't have enough demand for a good such that you can drive the price. Like it'll just depress the price too much because there's not enough demand for the good. You can't just build 21 anything unless you're in a huge market, which England is. So that's kind of interesting to think about. Opium Wars. Let's see. China has refused to back down. That's what I've seen in every play so far that I've been watching. If there's a playthrough where they back down, that'd be kind of interesting to know about. And now it's interesting he's going for barracks because going for navy increases it more, but a standing navy is more expensive to maintain. So maybe that's the reason. Maybe in terms of on a price basis, barracks are better. Also, if you look at the building, way, way, way faster. So I guess that one construction center was enough to do that. See, Welsh culture, no obsession and no taboo. This will also be interesting. I wonder how much the obsessions and taboos shape plays. Like, I'm assuming every Middle Eastern country is going to have like taboo for like alcohol. So you could produce alcohol in the Middle Eastern countries and look to really jack up the price of alcohol and export it, and you don't have to worry about making a domestic good expensive because they don't consume it anyway. It's kind of interesting to think about as well. Let's see. Now he's a minor power, so this is what he's bragging about, and it's because the battalions increase. I wonder how big a strain this is on his economy, but he wants to colonize La Plata. Britain wins the Opium War, and interest is activated. Welsh Patagonia has been dreamed to the Fourth World. Oh no, this is going to be a really short AAR. So he's going for it. Don't be ridiculous. This is nothing like South Wales. This is obviously New North Wales. So you can see the rate of colonization is not so fast. So this is going on to the next one. Colonialization speed is based on your total incorporated population, which mine is a mere 1 million. So this is interesting to note. I wonder if this is true if it's exploitation and resettlement, or just if it's resettlement. We didn't get to see, I don't think we got to see which institution exactly he has, or which law he has. But this is interesting. Also, perhaps more reason to promote migration to his place. I think it's the Greener's Pastures Edict. And so I think, especially if you're just like a one state miner inside of a really big market, resettlement might be really powerful. I mean, it really depends on the numbers, like just how many people it pulls to your city, or your state, rather. We can modify it a little by expanding our colonial affairs institution, for which we'll need some tech. Okay, and then Quinine. Okay, Quinine allows more investment. I think the tech also decreases the malaria malice, but it's cut off. Um, Going to want to connect the colony to the wider market, so he's making a port. He also might want to staff the port for more power projection. British migrants are coming in, and their culture is Patagonian, which is interesting, and no Welsh people in there. Okay, so the Patagonians must be the natives, and then Scottish and English, but no Welsh. I guess the Scottish and English might be resettling here because they are persecuted in Wales. That is interesting. Okay. Removes the effect of malaria in all your own colonies. Yeah, so allows the establishment of colonies in states with severe malaria, leads to civilizing mission technology. So quinine is going to be important if you're looking to colonize. And perhaps she should have. No, this seems fine. I think that like timing is going to be hard to do. So if you can't afford to colonize, I don't know how expensive it is. Then like rushing the tech is obviously going to be a mistake. But I don't know how timing things is going to be difficult in a game you've never played before. So maybe it's better to just go for the tech and then just go for the tech early. I don't know. Colonies growing. Ooh, only 300 days. And this is the end of the AAR. So this is a little interesting. So what we got from this one, which was extremely short, is mainly thoughts on being inside a really large market, or at least that's what I focused on in terms of what we're talking about. And just like, if we scroll down, really thinking about economies of scale when we're inside a large market, which you will be if you're playing as any British subject. And also we got a little bit of colonization. It's going to be. I think that this might be one of the more fun runs to do, where you also get to be relatively safe because you have the British overlord protecting you, and so you get to be safe, kind of do what you want because the market is huge and it's going to be very forgiving. And so maybe this is a good way to start. I'm also keen to see just how big the greener pastures resettlement bonus is, and if it actually it probably just increases the equilibrium, and so it won't have like a compounding effect. It'll just be like if you would have naturally settled at like 3 million pops in terms of migration, now you settle at like 3.5 million pops, and it doesn't like exponentially grow, would be my guess. But it'll be interesting to see. Also interesting that if you're trying to colonize, one thing we got was, if we find it, colonization is based on the number of colonization speed is based on total incorporated population, which I was unaware of before, and so that gives another reason to try and increase, population in a country. And so maybe like Wales. I don't know what all countries will be subjects of Britain, but they might be really fun to play as, feel things out, and then eventually you get the big war of trying to go independent, and so you get to build up and make moves and then go for that, and that would probably be a pretty fun first run. Also, you get to be really safe at the start. So just some thoughts on all of that. He's got a nice little colony going. Yeah, so maybe my backup will be actually a British subject, maybe in India. That could be interesting. Or even subjects of another, like, major power. I talked about in my previous one that, in my previous one of these AAR read-throughs, that playing as a really big nation and releasing a nation would also be interesting. So, for example, if you wanted to play Poland, you could just play as Russia and release them. But yeah, I think I got out a lot of the ideas that are related to this. If you want to play Wales, it's probably a reasonable / fun option. Anyways, feel free to do the YouTube algorithm stuff, like, comment, subscribe, etc. And if you've been sitting around for a while, maybe go on a walk because it's good for your health. And have a good day.